key. I have a key that can unlock the full potential of transitional housing. Now, this key represents more than just access to temporary shelter. It symbolizes the gateway to comprehensive support, stability, and lasting independence for individuals and families, even those who are facing homelessness. In this episode, we're going to explore the essential goals for maximizing the impact of transitional housing, ensuring that it serves as a powerful catalyst for change. Now, with the right strategies, we can turn transitional housing into a foundation for individuals and families to thrive, ultimately fostering stronger, more resilient communities. But this key is the key that we will use to unlock potential in a handful of individuals. And that potential I will share at the end. So you will want to stay tuned. So as we look at the first goal, this here is the core part of what we talk about, and that's providing stable and safe housing for individuals. We want to ensure that we are giving residents that safety that they need, that security that they need to know that they're not going to be out on the streets. We're going to make sure it's a safe environment, something that brings a strong sense of well-being to the individuals who are there. So that does require being able to establish a strong maintenance of the facility itself, as well as security measures, just to make sure that they feel safe and to make sure they feel welcome and that there is support for them. That is critical to this type of environment, is having that safety that they need to feel. Because if you don't feel safe, you're in trauma on a regular basis. So our goal is to ensure that we've provided an environment that is safe for them and stable, so that they're not out in the elements. They are not experiencing things that leave them at high risk and high trauma mode. That's what we want to provide first. That is the main goal of transitional housing and being able to do that. The second thing, of course, is making sure that that you're able to deliver comprehensive support to them. Not just a place to lay their heads, but a place where they can get the support that they need, whatever they're dealing with. That's why going into an environment such as this, we want to make sure that we have developed a comprehensive plan for them to be successful, depending on the type of housing that you're creating. And even if you have a certain niche that you do, making sure the other things are provided through other providers so that those needs are being met for them in that transitional housing facility. So that might incorporate counseling, that would incorporate healthcare, various job training opportunities, educational opportunities. The gamut is large, even dealing with life skills. Some individuals have been unhoused for so long that they don't even know what it looks like to clean a bathroom or to wash their clothes. So basic life skills, being able to make sure they're getting those basic needs. So making sure you have a comprehensive support strategy in place for the individuals who are going to be in your housing. And then making sure that you are promoting self-sufficiency and independence. We don't want to have a culture where they're dependent or not able to rely on themselves to be sufficient. So making sure that we're equipping them with the skills that they need, the resources that they need, and the confidence that they need in order to transition to permanent housing at some point. So that takes time. That's not something that happens overnight, especially when you're dealing with individuals who've been dealing with chronic homelessness. Being able to give them the things that they need so that they can have the resources they need to be successful. So that's why we talk a lot about making sure we have a personalized plan and working with individuals in this space, because I'm not going to tell you you're going to be an expert in this at all. I'm not an expert, but clearly through my experiences, I have developed skill sets related to this, and I know who to tap on. I don't choose to be the end all that knows all. Simply making sure you're providing the resources that are needed so that individuals can get what they need. That is the responsibility of an individual who provides transitional housing to individuals. You want to make sure that they have a personalized plan so that they can be able to have something in place and set goals for themselves so that they can ultimately get the things that they need so that they can eventually have their own permanent housing and live in it successfully, sustainably, and independently. Then we want to make sure that as they are in the community that you're creating, because especially when you're pulling them from a community that was their community, making sure that you're giving them a sense of community in that home that you're providing. The worst thing to do is to make someone feel like they're alone. Community is everything. Like through your community is where you have a sense of belonging and a sense of just being connected to somebody else who may have lived experience with you. So being able to have that and building those connections, not just within the house for individuals to feel strong and supported and belonging to the people that they're there with, but also in the community in which they live, whether it's that specific neighborhood that they are connected to. That's why it's so important when you are in this housing and you are creating relationships with the neighborhood that you find resources that they might be able to provide individuals who are going to be in your housing model. So making sure that you are integrating successfully the community in which you are actually going to have your facility. So making sure that, any type of community events that are going on, you're plugging the residents in, making sure that they have the opportunity to participate in activities. We do a lot of things, like if we're doing we love doing like Thanksgivings and Christmas and the 4th of July. They like experiencing that too in their community and also within themselves. So creating those activities that are making them feel included and belonging to the community in which they live in is definitely very critical. And then being able to create that long-term sustainability. That is the ultimate goal, is making sure that individuals have a model that they can follow so that they can sustain themselves, so that when life happens again, they can be able to sustain and they're prepared for that in case life happens again and potentially could put them in that situation, because change happens. Change is something you can guarantee will happen in life. So as change happens, you're making sure they've got the skill sets they need to sustain themselves. So that sustainable model that will be created in your transitional housing, you want to be able to support them so that they can fully serve and be able to combat any changes that happen. So it's critical to be able to have that type of support and creating those connections and networks for the resources that they need so that they can be connected and we're not putting them in that position. Now, the next goal that we have, clearly a goal is to reduce recidivism to homelessness. Like, we do not want to see people leave our transitional housing facility back into homelessness. Like, that is not the goal, is that they return to homelessness. So making sure that the program that you're putting in place helps them get into permanent housing, even if it has to be supportive permanent housing. You've got a place for individuals to go so that they ultimately can maintain their housing. So that is critical for their success, and making sure that you are having those connections with them so that they don't return to homelessness. That is the one thing you do not want to do. So making sure that all of the things that have been created around that action plan is specifically meeting that need. Now, before we get into this final goal that we have in transitional housing, if you've not subscribed yet to my channel, please click subscribe and click notifications. I'll be constantly putting videos out talking about transitional housing as well as other topics that help people learn how to live for free or stay back, engaged and re-enter into society in a successful mode. I want you to take part in those. So be sure to subscribe and to click the notifications for my next videos, because this one goal right here, this to me is that key. This here is the key to transitional housing, and I believe it's true success in moving forward. And that is when you can help individuals who are in this housing model replicate what it is that you have done for them now into their own personal housing that they own. And you've replicated that model so that not only are they able to sustain themselves and help themselves be successful and have those resources in place for themselves, but they now can serve as mentors to individuals in their own housing model that you help them do so that they can ultimately build out on an exponential level. And this here is why I do what I do. Because at the end of the day, when you can help people sustain themselves and become more self-sustained and independent, it's wonderful. But when you can teach them how to do it then for others, because that's what this is all about. It's not about you by yourself in your nice little siloed world. It's about being able to then give back to others. So people with lived experience who knows what it's like to be homeless or knows what it's like to be unhoused and not have the independence that they deserve or the sustainability that they can have, that is powerful. So when I am able to give them this key, because what I love teaching, and I told you, I love teaching sustainable skills. I love teaching people how to live for free. I like teaching people how to not only pull yourself up, but then now go help others do what you do what you did. You serve them. It's on a whole nother level. So this here, when I talk about all of the goals of transitional housing, this is my ultimate goal. And that's to be able to create a replicable model and mentorship program for individuals who come from this lived experience and now they can share with others. So not only are they sustaining themselves through this process and getting themselves to a state of where they now are more independent, they now can replicate that model through their own housing as we teach them investment property ownership and then how to take that and then give back to the community in which they came from. That is power. So when you are able to do that, you are able to impact people on an exponential level. Imagine that one person that we are able to help get their own property that they then now can show others and they can serve as that mentor. The power that you're able to do on an exponential level, that one person can now impact 3 other people or 4 other people. And then of those individuals, you teach them the same skill. Now those 4 people are impacting 3 or 4 people. And then those 4 people are impacting 3 or 4 people. Imagine the exponential, the multiplicity, but how we're able to multiply individuals and help. All from that one, you can get hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who can learn this skill. And imagine you have that many people impacting your community in which you live in. That's power. So as we look forward and talk about this particular model, I'll have more on this model as we showcase this, because this here to me, out of everything that we do in transitional housing, is the ultimate goal. This is the key to transitional housing. This is the key to ending homelessness and impacting others on an exponential way. So when we talk about transforming people's lives, this is how we want to do that, because I truly believe that transformed lives, those who have this key, can transform the world and the communities in which they live. So let's get out here and transform it.